People thought I was waiting for death, but the truth was, I had finally learned how to live. Before I tell you my story, if you want to hear new truths about life, love, silence, and the human heart, please like, subscribe, and share the Golden Truths. My name is Henry Collins. I am 79 years old. Every morning before the sun rises, I sit in the same old chair near my living room window. The leather is cracked. The armrest is worn. To others, it may look lonely, but to me, it is the only place where my tired heart finally feels safe. I make 1 cup of tea, no sugar, just a little milk, the way my wife Clara used to make it. Sometimes, when the steam rises, I almost feel her presence, but the kitchen stays quiet. Last month, my son Daniel came into my kitchen. "Dad, you can't stay home like this every day," he said. I asked, "Why not?" "Because it isn't healthy," he replied. I smiled. For 45 years I worked. I carried burdens nobody noticed. Nobody told me to rest. But now, when I finally choose peace, people think something is wrong. But the first time I sat alone in that silence, I discovered something I had been running from for years. For most of my life, I was never still. I worked as a school principal for 38 years. Bells ringing, children crying, parents complaining. Everyone wanted something from me. I thought being needed meant being alive. Clara saw it before I did. She would ask, "Henry, when will you rest?" I laughed, "When I'm dead." Then Clara died, and the house changed. Her slippers were still beside the bed. Her blue mug was still in the cabinet. Her gardening gloves were still near the door. Everything was there, except her. At first, the silence felt cruel. I ran from it. I attended lunches I did not enjoy. I smiled until my face hurt, but every time I came back home, the house felt emptier. Then, one evening, I saw Clara's blue mug in the kitchen. Just a mug. But suddenly, I remembered her hands, her voice, her laughter, our whole life. And I cried like a child. That night, I understood something. I was not afraid of staying home. I was afraid of meeting my grief. And when I stopped running from that grief, my empty house began to speak. Daniel loves me, but love does not always understand silence. One Saturday, he came over without calling. I was sitting under the old apple tree in the backyard. A book was open on my lap, but I was not reading. "Dad, you're just sitting here," he said. "Yes," I replied. "I have become very good at it." He sat beside me and said, "There's a senior center downtown. You might enjoy it." I looked at him and asked, "Would you enjoy it?" He became quiet. In that silence, I saw the truth in his eyes. It was not anger, it was fear. He was afraid that if I became too quiet, one day he might lose me. I told him, "Son, I spent my whole life surrounded by people. I listened. I solved problems. I smiled when I was exhausted. Now I am not hiding from life. I am finally resting inside it. We went inside. On the table near the window was an old notebook. "What is this?" Daniel asked. "Letters to your mother," I said. His eyes filled with tears. That afternoon, he did not ask me to leave the house. He sat beside me. For the first time, he entered my silence instead of trying to rescue me. But Daniel did not know Clara had left one final letter for me. I found the letter in a box of old photographs. It was folded neatly. On the front, Clara had written for Henry, "When the house becomes too quiet to bear." My hands trembled as I opened it. She wrote, "Henry, you have spent your life caring for everyone. When I am gone, do not fill every empty space with noise. Sit by the window, drink your tea slowly, let the house hold you. I will not be in the chair across from you, but I will be in the peace you allow yourself to feel." I read it once, then again, and again. Then I sat in my old chair and cried. But these tears were different. They were not only grief. Clara had given me permission to rest. From that day on, I stopped apologizing for staying home. When someone said you should go out more, I simply smiled and said, "No, thank you. I am staying home today." Some people worried. Some did not understand. But I finally understood one golden truth. Activity is not always life. Noise is not always joy. And company is not always connection. Now my days are simple. I make tea. I water Clara's roses. I write letters. I watch sunlight move across the floor, and sometimes Daniel visits. He sits quietly beside me. A quiet life is not wasted. Sometimes it is a life finally returned to its owner. The golden truth of this story is that peace is not emptiness. Sometimes peace is the healing your heart was silently begging for. Respect your silence, rest without guilt. Because sometimes home is not a prison. Sometimes home is the reward.